Hello, hello. You should be able to hear me. Oh, did I miss the countdown? Whoops. I haven't done this in a while, apparently. Hey, what's up? How's it going, everybody? So this is the kickoff stream for Hacktoberfest. So if you don't know what that is, then stay tuned, because that's what we're going to go over for this stream. So drop in the comments if you are brand new to Hacktoberfest, or if you've contributed to it before. Let me know. You should be able to hear me way more than you can hear the music, but I mess with the sound levels like every single stream, and I can never get them right. Hey Montana, brand new. Wally, you are also brand new. Awesome. So we are going to go through everything that you both will need to know. And whoever else is watching the stream but may not be chatting, that's totally fine. So let's get into what everything is. Let me first open this. Wiz, it's your first time. Awesome. Is it Renato? Also brand new? Beautiful. So let's get started with everything. And also, let me first drop the link to the repo that I'll actually be talking about this whole time. Hey Tim, you're also brand new to Hacktoberfest? Awesome. So first, what is Hacktoberfest is the big question. So let's switch over to here. And I took down my mic one time. I used to have like a whole mic arm and everything, and I've just never set it up again. So I just like never know where to put my mic nowadays. And I need to fix it and like put my whole stand back up, but I just haven't. But how's it going? So this is Hacktoberfest. This is their website. If you go to like hacktoberfest.com, I believe I put that in the description of this YouTube video. So it says celebrate our 10th year supporting open source. So this used to have a countdown timer. Of course, now it's started, so it doesn't. But this is the 10th year. I'm actually wearing my Hacktoberfest shirt. This is from 2020, so this was 3 years ago. I think that was the first year. I'm almost certain that was the first year I did Hacktoberfest as a contributor. And then since that, every year I've done my own open source project as a maintainer. So if you've never contributed before, Hacktoberfest is all about, do they actually tell you in the beginning? Okay, they just tell you a little bit more about how long it's been. They don't actually say what it is. Maybe? Let's see, learn more. That should say something. Okay, so apparently if you read this very long post, hopefully I think you can figure out what it is. But what Hacktoberfest is all about contributing to open source projects. Because open source projects, like there are a lot of them, and a lot of them that actually run a lot of different things. And open source means that the software for the most part is free and you can use it. But then it's also a lot of people who maintain that typically do that like on their own, and it's not necessarily like a paid job. So the point of having other people contribute is kind of get more people involved and learn how to do like open source contributions, basically. And then also with that, it's hang on, I'm gonna scroll that so it's not like super distracting, moving around all the time. And also with Hacktoberfest, why would you want to contribute? And the biggest reason for why is if you're brand new, if you've never worked in a team, or like you're brand new and literally haven't gotten your first iOS dev job yet, then Hacktoberfest can really help with like learning how to use Git with other people in collaboration, because you're contributing to a project that other people are also contributing to, which is typically what it'll be like when you work like in a team. And because of that, then you get a lot of practice actually working with Git and GitHub. So that's one of the top reasons I would say as a brand new person. Mic volume sounds low. Okay. Good to know. Let me turn that up. Is that any better? Okay, what about now too? Okay, that shouldn't spike it too much. Is the sound, is the background music too low or too high? But I did turn it up a little bit, so that should be better. Great, perfect. Thank you so much, Robert, for letting me know. Perfect. Okay, cool. And so with Hacktoberfest, it's again, you want to contribute to it, allows you to really work in a team and like a group like coding environment, which is what you'll do in a real job. And when you are learning on your own, you just haven't had that experience yet. Streambots has been coming in, Stream Elements has been coming in like 3 different times saying that they're here. So hopefully that means it's working. We'll see. But then the next thing is working with Git, and then collaborating with others, and really just working on a real life project, because when you're just working on your own, you don't really get that aspect. So Hacktoberfest is a really good time to start getting that kind of experience. And then another reason is just to contribute to open source, and just like in a job interview, if you contribute to some kind of open source software, like if you contributed to the Swift language, because that is even open source, you can then tell people, hey, I contributed this feature to like the Swift language that we all use to program iOS apps, for example. And when you also do contribute to open source software, you can make it your own. Like if you don't like how something's done, you can just fork the whole project and make your own flavor on it. And that is pretty much what a bunch of people have done with Linux, because Linux, the operating system, is also open source. And there's then tons of different variations of Linux, which are people just doing like a fork off the main repo and doing their own thing. So let's go through. Also, here is my Hacktoberfest, not Hacktoberfest, but here is my Oktoberfest mug. It's filled with water because don't have that much beer. Look at it. So this is what I'll be drinking through my whole stream, is my gigantic mug that I need 2 hands to hold because it's so heavy. This holds 1 liter, so it's, I have my Oktoberfest mug and my Hacktoberfest shirt on. And so let's register now as a participant. So if you go back over to the Hacktoberfest website, if you just click on the main logo, you can see it, or go to participation. I think this gives you more information. You can either click register now or just click start hacking, which I think is just kind of it's a login button basically. I have already logged in, so you click start hacking. They want you to sign in either with GitHub or GitLab. I am not sure if it actually matters if you signed in with GitLab and then made contributions to a GitHub project. I'm not sure how that would work. I always sign in with GitHub because all of my projects are on GitHub. So if we click initiate, yeah, this should just default log me in, yeah, because I've already logged in several times. So here it says like, hello, log in, or you'll go through like the GitHub login, and then it eventually takes you back to here. And you get to see what is your progress on everything. So now, this year we get awards that are like digital rewards, so if you really want digital pins, that's like the fun thing of Hacktoberfest, because previously, like this, you used to be able to get a t-shirt. But a lot of people did like spam PRs and just not like actual good code just to get a t-shirt out of it. So what they did this year was kind of just like, you can get digital pins and things, which can be fun. You can still throw it, put it somewhere, say like, hey, I got this. So that's fun. So here's all the different pens I have, which is at the moment just all of the you registered pens. And then here is me making a PR to my own repo. I'm surprised this shows up, honestly. I thought I signed up. It asks you specifically to sign up as a maintainer or for as a participant. I specifically signed up as a maintainer, so I'm not sure why my own PR shows up here. Or maybe because I did merge my own PR as a maintainer. That counts. But otherwise, it'll show your goal is to get 4 PRs merged. So I have 0 of 4. I have 1 waiting. I don't know why it's technically still waiting because I merged it myself. But that's what it is. And this is delayed a little bit, like by, I think they only said it should be delayed only by like 20 minutes. I'm not sure if that's completely accurate. But your goal is to get 4 of them merged, or in a project, they may not get merged yet, but they'll have what's called a label on the PR, and it'll say Hacktoberfest accepted, which is like if the maintainer, for example me, didn't want to merge your code just yet, I could write Hacktoberfest accepted, so that means it'll count through here, it'll like add a number to here, but the code actually wouldn't be yet merged into the project. So we have that. What else did I put on here? So yeah, that's what this project is, or that's what this repo, or not even repo, what are we talking about? That's what Hacktoberfest is. The repo we are going to be using for my project is this one. It is called Basic Car Maintenance. I dropped that in the chat earlier. This is just a basic kind of app. It doesn't really do a ton yet, and that's kind of the goal of the whole thing, was just like make something simple, and we can spin it so many different ways. As you can see, there's already 17. There's already 18 issues that I've created. Actually, I think I created about 15 or so. A couple people have added their own already. And then, as you can see, 7 people have already made a PR. So if you haven't yet, don't worry. All these people already made PRs. When I woke up this morning, there were already like 5 of them. So do not worry. You're not late. Your goal is just to get your goal is to do 4. And you can do that throughout all of October. So these people are just super speedy, honestly. I've already merged one of them, and then once you contribute to the project, you can see all the details here. You can see your name will show up in this contributors spot once that happens. And then read through the README. It shows you how to actually get started with the project. We are going to go through this. I don't know why. Look at this. Why is there a little scroll bar there? It's weird. So we are going to go through this and how to set everything up. And so let's get started. So the first thing you'll do, you technically can clone the project directly, but that's not the way you should do this. What you should do is fork the project, and I lay this out in the code of conduct, or not code of conduct, but read the code of conduct. I laid this out in the contributing guidelines and in this very first list. I need to kind of update some of these instructions and also put it in contributing, because I realized today I haven't done that yet. But that is what this project is, which I will get more into the code in just a minute once I actually get to it. So anybody have any questions about what Hacktoberfest is, or was that a good explanation? Was it better than what the website gives you? Hopefully, maybe. You can kind of look around the website. It's pretty cool. They change it every year, so it's fun. This mug is so comically big. For anybody who doesn't know, that mug is an entire liter, and it tells you on the side of it, it is 1 liter of whatever you put in it. So let's get started. How you would do this as a participant. So the first thing you'll do is go here and click this fork button. I am not going to click it because this is on my own project, but you'll click the fork button and it will then go to a screen that looks like you're making a brand new repo. And from there, you'll say like, fork to my profile, basically. And what that means, think of fork literally as copy. And it's like clone is also kind of copy. But what the difference is that you will, cloning is cloning directly this GitHub repository to your local machine. That is a clone. A fork is, okay, take the GitHub repo, move it to my own move it to my own profile for that repo. So it's like copying it from GitHub to GitHub rather than GitHub to computer. And the purpose for that is that this is public and nobody has access to this right now except for me. So if you tried to create a branch, you could do that locally, but if you tried to then push that branch up to GitHub, you wouldn't be able to because you don't have permission. So that's why you first have to fork the project to your own profile. So your profile has a copy, and then you can clone it. So let's pretend we forked the project, and then we will copy this, which you can use HTTPS. That's what most people use. I use the GitHub CLI because it's fun. So I'll just type that into my desktop, and then now it's cloning the project, and you would do this after you click the fork button. So Robert, can you contribute to multiple projects? Yes, you can. I think they'll all end up counting. But you only have to get 4. Like 4 isn't a ton, so really if you think about it, you could be doing like 1 per week. Or you could do all 4 in like a couple days. It is up to how you want to do that. But yeah, you can contribute to multiple projects, and the GitHub should like pick all of those up. The goal is as long as you contribute to a project that says Hacktoberfest as one of the topics, I believe, is how that would count, or you like use an issue. No, that's the repo. The repo has to have Hacktoberfest as like a label on the repo itself. Or Hacktoberfest 2013 or 2023. I almost said 2013. Oh man. But that it should, I think, just be Hacktoberfest. I just put this one here so that like people kind of know. And then I threw in a bunch of other labels. So if anybody is searching anything and can't find this, let me know. But also, if you were searching for my repo somewhere and could not find it, also let me know what you were searching through, because then I can go through and make sure that, like, you can find this app. Like, you can find this somewhere online, basically. Okay, so if we cloned it, that's what I did, and then I moved to that directory. So now we are in the directory with the project. So if we type ls, we will see the same list of files that show up here. So the first thing we have to do is build the project. So if you actually go through and read this, which you should, everybody should read this, and already some people have not. So let's read it together so that we all know. So first step is fork the repo, and then also really the actual first step is browse through the issues and comment on which one you want to work on. And note, it is one person per issue. So only comment on one, you can start working on it even if I haven't assigned it, but commenting on it lets other people know that you're working on that issue. Because if you haven't, then 2 people end up working on the same issue, and then 2 people submit a PR doing the same thing. And of course, I can only accept 1. Wally, you read that? Good. Thank you, because I already have people who have not read it. So let's first look at the issues. These are kind of obnoxious for the fact that everything says almost everything says good first issue, Hacktoberfest, help wanted, and those are the big ones. It's good first issue, Hacktoberfest, and help wanted. Because, what is it? It's like Hacktoberfest, every issue has to be labeled Hacktoberfest, and that lets people know what they can work on. And then help wanted is like another tag, basically, people will kind of search through. If they're like in the search bar up here, they may search, like if we delete that, they may search Hacktoberfest and search like more things about that. And then search like only for issues that say help wanted. So that's why I kind of threw like every label on there. But for the most part, there's only a couple I think that actually that don't say good first issue. Maybe they all say it. I think they all say it right now. But comment on which one you want to work on, and then I will assign it to you. So as you can see, there's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 now, oh my gosh, that don't have an assignee on it, which I think actually somebody, other than this one, it looks like somebody has commented on every one, so I'll go through and read what that comment is, and somebody maybe already started working on that, which in that case, looks like I'm gonna have to make some more issues. So I will go and do that, but that's what you should do first is first comment on what you want to work on. You can clone it and everything first if you want, but be sure before you actually do anything, comment on which issue you want to work on, because it's very important, and it annoys me when people don't, and people have already not done that. So be a good participant and read everything. But after you do that, you'll clone it to your machine. That's what we just did. And then it says in the same folder that contains the basic core maintenance xcconfig template, run this command. So if we look here again, are we in the same directory or the folder that has the xcconfig template? We are, because we see it right here. So if we know we're in the right place, now we can copy this and we just run this command. So if we do that, hit enter, it looks like nothing happens, but if we type ls again, we will see that a new file has been created called basic core maintenance xcconfig. And what this did is just copy this file called xcconfig.template and copied and made a new one called xcconfig without the .template on it. Wally is your dog. You asked this on Threads this morning. I like that. Oh yeah, what? I don't remember what your name is, but I do remember talking to you this morning on Threads. Yes. Yep, we're gonna go through exactly what this is. Oh my gosh, there was a bug in my room. Yeah, Threads are really bad about like giving me replies. Like I never get notifications on it, and I don't know what the reason is for that. Let's see if it works for me. But the hard part is it may work for me, and it's very possible it won't work for somebody else because this is my project on my computer. So it may just like figure it out, but we'll see. So what you're going to do is fill in your development team. I could make this more specific. But what we want to do is now open this file called xed space period that opens Xcode. So you can see, like every other project, it goes through, downloads all the packages, which is Firebase, which can sometimes take a hot minute. I didn't want to put Firebase in this project, but then I did. So, sorry. So what you will do is open this, and we see this file, and it says development team, your team ID. So what you will do is find your team ID. You can find this, I wrote, on the App Store, Apple Developer Portal. If you have a free account, this works. If you have a paid account, it'll definitely work. But you'll basically fill in your team, like, it's all uppercase letters, so it'll be like ABC 1 2 3, whoops, 1 2 3, something like that. And how big is the font that I have on here? I always use this font. It looks small to me though. Let's see. Let's make the font bigger. 18. That's my console. Let's make the console. Ooh, it's only 14. We'll make it 16. Okay, so fill this in. Let's see if it immediately works on my computer. I don't know if it will when I don't fill something in properly. But let's try it. So you should fill this in, and notice, though, the biggest thing. So if we type git status, hopefully y'all can see that. There, it's a little bit bigger. Now it's bigger. Okay. If we type git status, notice that nothing has changed. So we were able to copy this, and no files changed. And the purpose for that is because this one is actually ignored. And that is the whole point of this, is because everybody will have their own team ID, and we're not going to commit every single person's team ID because that's not how this works. So doing this prevents that from happening, hopefully. But in all reality, you actually don't need this unless you're trying to build to a real device. Because if you go into the project settings and go to signing capabilities, yeah, see, right now it says unknown team ABC123, of course, because that doesn't exist for me. Because my team ID is, of course, something else. It's not technically terribly private. You could really find it if you look on my profile. But this does create problems. If you try to immediately build this on your device, you would get an error. But this is set up so that this fills in with whatever we type in here. So if we do XYZ 987, hit save. Go back here, now it says XYZ 987, and that's because it's using whatever value we fill in from this. So if we don't have anything, it just says none. And so that's the way you should do this. So hopefully, let's see, does the project build? It should, hopefully. Okay, build succeeded. So it worked on my machine. Classic. Let me know if you have gotten to this step and it doesn't work for you. Considering several people have already made a PR and only really 1 or 2 people have messed this up, I believe this process is working. So that's all you have to do. And then the second thing is build a project. That should build. Check out a new branch from dev to work on. So notice that when we clone this, by default, it cloned the dev branch, because I set the dev branch to be the main branch. So we have, the default branch is what it's called. So I have main and dev. Main will be what the code is that's actually on the App Store. Dev is what I'm going to have everybody else contribute to. You're retrying at the moment. Yes, please, please, please let me know if that works for you, or especially let me know if it doesn't. So that should be it, basically. That's how you get started and actually clone and do something. So let's look. That's all I really had planned for this stream, honestly. I did not have much to say on this. How long have I been streaming? Not even terribly long. Does it tell me? Where does it tell me? Oh, it's only been a half hour. That is really all I had planned. Anybody have any questions? Because the other thing is I need to go through now personally, and I have to look at all the different issues, see which ones people commented on, and assign people things. Montana, you're going to do this tomorrow. You wanted to see it first and go from there. Yes, so that should be it. So hopefully, and I tried to make this concise. So technically, I mean, this is like a 30-minute long video, but you can go back and find where I started talking about this and be able to follow it. So hopefully, that was the goal. That was the only goal I had with this stream, was really just do that. So if you then... Yeah, so then the only other step is creating a new branch, which you don't technically have to, but good development practice, you should. Thank you for the walkthrough. You're going to ask what if people already commented on all the issues listed, but you answered that a bit ago. Yes. Did not expect that. Or actually, I kind of expected a lot of people to end up doing some of it. Not this many, because there were a lot. Like, as everybody can see, there's like 7 PRs. That's so many that I need to go through. But... I kind of knew because of how many people started the project already that there was definitely interest in this. And you can see on my little star history, I found this somewhere online. How many people have started the project since I started it, which is funny. Every single one of these little it's not a dip, it's a, what do you call it the other way around? It's not a dip, but a rise? I don't know. Every single one of these is, I think, when I streamed, like, live. So all of these are, yeah, from September. This is me, or not all of them, but this is me somewhere mentioning that I was doing this project. There technically is a light and dark mode of this, but that's okay. Contributors, this thing will update as people contribute. You can see there's 3 over here, which this is the real one. This is some project thing, so this will eventually, hopefully, update. If it doesn't, I'll just take it away or something. It's working now. No idea what we're on the last time. I am glad it works now, Wally, because, yeah, you never know. It's always just one small thing that gets changed. I know one of the PRs right now, somebody messed it up. So I'm probably going to say, hey, go watch my stream. And be like, this is how you properly do this. And I may look at also making a small YouTube video and embedding it in the README to have somebody do this, because many people are not reading the instructions. And I find that so annoying, because I wrote them there for a reason, but people are not reading them. And it's easy to mess up. I just did this for the first time. I've never done an XC config file before on any of my projects. So that's new for me. Somebody else helped me do that. But that's pretty much how this works. And then, yeah, all the other issues. Let me see which ones people are working on. I don't believe I have the same person on any one issue. So that means, how many people are that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So that's, if everybody does all these issues, that's like 13 people doing them. I would say give everybody like 3 days or so. If no progress is made or something, I would reply to them, or even 2 days, reply to the person and be like, hey, are you still working on this? If they don't respond in like 1 day, just at me and be like, hey, Mikaela, I want to take this issue, blah, 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 hasn't done anything, or say they haven't worked on that yet, which is fine. This isn't a speed test or anything, but I don't want somebody to have an issue and then have it for like 7 days and not do any work on it at all. So that's what I would say. Can I go through the process of making a change and committing it? Yes. Let's see. What should we change? What is there? So if we open the project, here's something I'm going to do soon, is there is doc.c documentation, which is super fun. This is the new, not new in the last 2 years or so, how to, or to document your project. If you go to product, build documentation, I'll show you this and then go into committing. We get this. So basic car maintenance, an app to track your car's basic maintenance, like oil changes, tire rotations, etc. And then you click on this, notice this thing matches those 2 sentences. And eventually I'll fill this in that has more stuff in it, probably related to the contributing and README. And then here, like the authentication view model, no documentation whatsoever. I'm going to make some issues where people can document what these things are. And then what I personally am going to try to do is build this so that this shows up on a website. And I will link that website in the actual repo. I have not done that yet, but this will come later. I would make an issue for somebody to do this, but I'm not sure if somebody can, for the fact of it has to do with GitHub actions and everything. And people can't change that under like my own accounts. So I'm not sure how that'll work yet, but that's what I'm going to try to do. One other question you have as a beginner, are these mostly straightforward? Yes, they are. They are very, very straightforward, and all of these I tried to make very simple, as in it's simple for me because I've done this before. It may not be super simple for somebody else, but the goal is all of these issues you should be able to do like in one night is the goal. If you can't, or if you have questions on it, or like how something works, you can DM me on social media, or you can also just comment on the issue and be like, hey, is this what you meant? But let's see. Let's look at what's one that hasn't been taking. Yeah, so here's one. Did somebody comment on this? Oh yeah, somebody, here's Okay, here's one. Because you all can see this is public. But yeah, somebody already made a PR to this, but never commented that they wanted to work on this issue, so it looks like anybody can work on the issue. But in reality, somebody has already solved it, and they didn't comment saying that they wanted to do it, so I didn't know, and now none of you know. So really, there's only 2 issues that nobody has commented on. So it's annoying, and that's why I want you to comment on it. So now I'm slightly calling this person out, but hey, everybody else can see this as well. And I've reiterated multiple times, please read the documentation. 1, dang, you wish you could contribute? You can. You can contribute because I am going to do this some more, but you can actually, man, you just retracted your message. Okay, I'm sorry. But you can still contribute to this project because I'm going to make several things that are documentation related, meaning you don't actually need a Mac to be able to do this. Like to fill in a markdown file, you can do that without a Mac. To actually build it all, that's what I have to kind of figure out how that'll work. But you can do some of this without a Mac. And I'm looking at doing documentation and doing some design kind of work. So if you want to make a new alternate app icon, that is something that I'm looking for. Somebody has commented on one of these issues to do that, but I'm trying to make it so you can still contribute to this project without having a Mac or doing iOS development, like purely code things. So you should be able to. So here's like a thing of how this works. So in function add vehicle in the settings view model, it doesn't handle if there's an error from Firebase. Add a do catch block to show an error and an alert if an error is thrown. So let's first look at settings view model. If we go open settings view model, okay, I mentioned a function called add vehicle. Let's look for add vehicle. Here we go. So it says it doesn't handle if there's an error from Firebase. So we can see that because of this try question mark. So one way to fix this is to wrap this, as I even noted in the issue. Wrap it in a do catch, like that. That's the first step. And then the second step would be, let's say, let result is equal. The second step is getting rid of that question mark is actually showing an alert, which takes like a second longer. So part of this would be saying print error adding vehicle. And I can't spell vehicle to save my life. I hated when I read this the first time. It's so annoying. But error adding vehicle, and then here you could print the error. So this is half of this issue being done. Do you have a naming convention? A naming convention in what way? And so say we just did this, pretend we add an alert. This was fixing part of this issue. Let's get rid of the white space and commit it. So I use, do I have the other thing? I don't have it open. Hang on a second. Let me switch my screen. Because I'm not sure what project will show up first when I do this, and I don't want to accidentally show something I shouldn't. This is fine. So I use, as you can tell, Terminal to do most Git related things because I can type quickly. I'm already just like typing. It's easier to just continue to type rather than go and click on a bunch of things. So if we type git status, we want to commit this one file. So if I do git add this file, now it's in the staging area. And so I can click on, actually here's what I opened, is Git Kraken is a UI or a GUI to do this. Oh, that's funny. I'm not looking at the same repo that I'm looking at right now on my computer because I cloned a different one in a different place. That's the like real one. So here, how would we commit this is we are not on a branch. So let's first open a new branch, even though I made a change. Let's do git restore. Okay, restore that so it's still changed. Let's do git branch. This is issue 13 / error handling. I will maybe point out sometimes if somebody doesn't name their branch correctly, but it doesn't actually end up mattering to me, so I don't care that much. So if we do git checkout 13 error handling, now we are on the new branch and this change came over with us. So if we type git status, we see this. Let's commit something. So do git commit -m, use a do catch around add vehicle. Oh, whoops, I have to add it to the staging area. I'm gonna just do that. So now it's committed, and the next thing you would do would push this. I am not going to do that, but that would be the next step, is pushing this. And I didn't do something else that I need to go. I wrote in the contributing this, but I didn't write this somewhere else, is setting this upstream remote. But that would be the whole step, is you just commit this and then push. So if we do git remote-v, this shows you where we cloned it from. So everybody will actually see this thing, is origin, the name of my repo with mine, or actually, sorry, not my name, but this will be the name of your, what do you call that? Your username, because you forked the project. And then the second thing is adding this will help with updating after there's changes. So if you look at the project again tomorrow, there are going to be changes. And this is what you would end up doing to need to actually update your fork with a with the changes. But then, yep, the last thing you would do right here is just do git push. This would push it to your own fork, and then you would open a PR. So if you start clicking on pull request and click on new pull request, because there's only 2 branches here. Technically, if I wanted to say merge dev into, main, it would show up like this. You would see what changes there are and then what has changed. And then you click create PR. I'm not going to yet because I don't want to do that, but that is pretty much all the steps that you would do to go through and do that. So naming convention wise, you're talking about models and view models. Make it somewhat specific. So like, all of these are called, if we expand everything, you can see the models. These are used throughout the whole app, so that's why I put them in this shared folder. I might make new folders and just make views that are not used if it's specific to iOS or specific to iPad or something else, because I did make this as a multi-platform project. So this is iOS, iPad, and Mac. Maybe I'll make a watch OS app. Somebody, I want to do that. Sounds fun. Also, making a tvOS app sounds fun to add to this as just like a thing to do. And yeah, so the views and view models, so if we expand this again, we have like settings view. Can you see this? It's kind of small. Actually, my head's in the way. So if we have this, we have settings view model, authentication view model that kind of matches an authentication view. Yeah, that's in the settings. Add vehicle doesn't have a view model. It uses the settings, dashboard view model. Basically, just make it something specific. If I really don't like it, I'll ask you to change it. There is one somebody already did that I want to change. They just called it info view model. And I'm just like, info view model doesn't really mean anything. Info is too abstract of a name to know what it does. And also, I couldn't figure out what it does. And because they did the, they did the project, they set the project up incorrectly. They're going to have to go back and change that anyways. So, yeah, there's a lot of changes for that one. But basically, just do your best. If I don't like it, I'll point it out and just be like, hey, can you rename this? Wally, you mentioned the branch name. I typically actually do it the other way around. I do the issue number first. So like, you don't even need the number sign in it. That can get confusing because you have to type it every time. But like if you did just for - feature edit maintenance details or just edit details, I'm fine with that. Because in the end, your branch name, I only see it through the PR. So if we click on PR, we'll do this one. I see it right here. So this will be your username, 12, edit error handling, deleting vehicle, which pretty much matches what the issue name was. That's totally fine. It's up to you because sometimes you'll end up having to type this whole thing out. Sometimes you don't. And if it's a really long branch name, that can be hard. But if you use a GUI, it's not really that difficult. But this is a very good branch name, is like 12, which is the number of the issue, and then the title of the branch. I think I should have mentioned this in the contributing file. Yeah, if you scroll down more, here's more info about branches and PRs that I would recommend. But in the end, the branch name is not, I don't terribly care that much. Like, one person did put a number sign in theirs. I'll just mention, hey, by the way, a better branch name would have been this, but it's not a big deal. Are we only going to be able to contribute during October? So, Lord, for Hacktoberfest, if you want to participate in that, which is this whole hacktoberfest.com, this like open source event, you have to try to get 4 PRs in the month of October. This project, of course, will still live. My goal is actually within like, it's not going to be tonight because it's already like 9. My goal though is to put this up on the App Store and have people like actually download the app if they like legitimately want to use this. So because of that, the code base will still exist. So if you want to continue working on this and it's sometime outside of October, you are fully free to do that. But I know a majority of these PRs are going to happen on October. After that, there's not really a plan. I want to continue the project, but it won't be as like stringent as it is during Hacktoberfest because like people people like work a lot on it basically. So because of that, yes, you can contribute outside of October, but a majority of people are not going to. But if you want to, you are fully allowed to, as long as there's an issue. If there's not, make a new one and say you want to work on this and say what the issue is and why, and that should be it, and you can do that. Ugh, this mug is so heavy. I need to weigh this to see how heavy this thing is. I have like a coffee scale and I think it's too heavy for my coffee scale. I'll have to like use a real scale or something. But I thought it would be fun because I went to Munich in Germany and went to actual Oktoberfest. So that's why I brought out this gigantic mug. I have a different glass I also bought not while I was there, but somewhere else. I'll bring that out for whatever the next stream is. And I'm going to look at doing that. Everyone knows, or if you don't know, by the way, I stream on Fridays, typically at like 9 or 10 a.m. I'm going to see if I still want to schedule that one. I probably will. Otherwise, I might just do a stream, like co-working stream, of me going through PRs, commenting on them, that kind of thing, while gives you time if you want to sit down and also work on this project. So let me know if that would be helpful. I think it is, because it gives you dedicated time to work on something, because sometimes it's hard to find dedicated time. So yeah, let me know. And if you haven't already, I'm gonna drop this. If you haven't already, please like this video, because I don't see a ton of Hacktoberfest content, so maybe I'm one of the only ones. And it's fun. I want this to be easy not easy, but could be easy, for beginners to get started contributing. So if you like that, you can buy me a coffee as well. You can also, just out of this, you can click sponsor on GitHub. They both go to the same place. They're both going to be through the same processor too, through Stripe. But you can click sponsor on this. I don't know what it looks like on GitHub because nobody's ever done it before. But yeah, that's there if somebody wants to, because maintaining a repo is actually a lot of work. Like, yeah, there's 7 PRs I have to go through. There's like 4 other things people have commented on. It's a lot of work, but that's why I did this, is I want to help other people get started in open source work and get started like making a real life project, because this is totally a real project that's like in the real world, because I'm gonna literally push it to the App Store like this week. My goal was to do it before Hacktoberfest started, but I ran out of time. So that is the goal for that. And Robert, you had another question of, should we do a pull before we commit? So if you just cloned the repo like 5 seconds ago, you should be fine and not have to do that. Let me do a thing. I've got to get it. Hang on. I've got to get a cord too. Oh no, do I have it on my desk? Oh, I do have it on my desk. Awesome. I'm going to get a cord and draw out how this whole process actually works, because eventually you will have to do a pull, but at the moment you probably don't. Because I like drawing, and explaining this, the easiest way is to do it with a drawing. So let me go through. Where is this app that I'm trying to use? So have that. Let me set up so you can see my iPad. Oh, not that button. Where are we looking? This one. Okay, here we go. I'm sorry, I have really bad handwriting. I type all day long, my handwriting has just gotten worse and worse and worse. So you should be able to see this screen, this moving around. This is an app called Mockup, which is super nice. This is how I actually mocked up the, the project when I first started this whole thing. So this is how it works. Robert, I'm gonna use your name because you're the one asking this question, and hopefully that makes it so it makes sense for other people as well. So the first thing we have is, gonna use this. This is GitHub, and this is under my name. So the first thing you do, let me do colors. Where's more colors? Purple. Purple makes sense. Can I move these colors around? Is that a thing? No, I could change the color. Okay. Apparently we can't move the colors. That would be cool, though. So, can you see? Yeah, the purple. Can you see the purple? You should be able to. Okay, step 1 is fork. Or let me move these steps. Let me move these down here. So it's like near the bottom. And actually, I feel like I can't see that purple. Let's make it green. Oops. So step 1 is fork the project. So the first thing we do is we fork the project. So now it's also still on GitHub, and for example, it is under Robert now. So the first step was that one. And then the next thing we want to do is clone the project. So hang on. Make this step 2. Oops, C-L-O-N-E, clone. And then now we have basic car maintenance. I'm not spelling out. I was going to say typing out, but I'm not typing. I'm writing. I'm not going to type out basic car maintenance because that's long. So next thing is clone. So step 2. Is clone. So after you do that, then we will create a new branch. So let's say that is over here. 3 is branch. So it's still the same project, but let's say it's number 15, whatever. So it'll be like 15 dash feature name. So, and then, oops, let's say you make commits, so commit. So that would then be step 4. So is committing. So here's what we done. Oh, I think I need to make this. Can I make this bigger? Yeah. So here's what we done. First thing is you have forked the repo. I'm gonna write the word fork because I didn't. So you fork the repo. It's now on your profile. After you do that, you have cloned it to your machine. This means it's on your computer. And then we've created a new branch. It's now called 15 feature name. And then you've made commits. So at this point, you want to take the project and push it back up to your computer. Oh, these arrows are gonna not go linearly the way I wanted, but that's okay. Let's call this number 15. Step 4, step 5 is push. So we have now Oh gosh, I haven't kept up and written the rest of them. What was 3? 3 was branch. 3, 4. Branch and then push. No, it was commit then push, yeah. And let me know if this diagram is helpful. I hope it is. That's kind of why I'm drawing it out. Okay. So we have done that. So now we've pushed your code. And that's well and fine, and you can go and make a PR. This is so not linear. So we make a PR to 5 step 6. So this is a PR to my repo. So this will actually end up being, I'm going to just make this gray. This will end up being a PR up to my repo in GitHub, literally like mine. The thing that happens though is in the middle of you doing these steps 3 through 6, something could happen where somebody else also commits code. And in that case, what you end up having to do, let's make, what's another color? Blue. Blue is easy to see. So this, how do I want to write this? So this could all be isolated together as something you can do, but eventually you're going to have to pull code from my main repo, because what happens is now somebody else does the same thing. So if I can't make the sketch bigger from the other side, so we are gonna move the whole sketch so it's in the middle. There we go. Okay, the sketch is in the middle. What can happen now is somebody else. Oh, this line. Oh. So that color was slightly darker. Let's just make that one also gray. Or no, let's make it yellow. It's somebody, or orange. So what happens? Somebody else does the same thing. So let's say somebody else, let's say, who else was in chat? Wally, you're in chat. Maybe, if you're still here. So Wally makes their own clone, or sorry, their own fork in GitHub. So they did step 1. And then they cloned it. So then let's do this. Oops. And then that is step 2. And then I'm just gonna make little, what is this, 3. Oop, wrong color. 4. How many steps did I have? 5? 6? 6, okay. Almost there. Oh, wrong color. 6. Okay. So here's now 2 people working on this PR. It started with me in the center. Robert started doing everything, and then we branched off, and then Wally started working on the project. What happens when Wally's code gets merged before Robert when you started working on the project earlier? So what will end up happening, let me get the gray color back, is this is a PR into this. So both of these, I'm gonna also do this, is the same process happened with both of these. But Wally, say, was super speedy. I ended up seeing their PR first, so I merged their PR. So what happens then? Robert, your code will now be out of date. Depending on what issues you are both working on, then you could have a merge conflict you have to solve, or if all goes well, you don't have a merge conflict and you just have to update your code. So if there's not a merge conflict, and if it's something that's not even like same place in the code, you may actually not need to update it, but best practice is that you should. So what ends up happening is now. Wally, let's say Wally got their code in first. So this, my code, do I have like a pointer? I don't think I do. What is that? No, I don't have a pointer. But we're looking at mine in the center here. So my code is now updated. So Robert, the first thing you have to do, you don't have to re-fork the code, but you have to do what is called syncing. So let's just make a different arrow. Say step 7 is syncing. So you have to do sync your fork, which just means that you are pulling, it is pulling changes from my code base in GitHub to your code base in GitHub. That's it. That is syncing the fork that you have, because if Wally's code came in first, your code is now outdated if you haven't done that. And then the second step is, you don't have to reclone, but then now what you'll have to do is pull. Should I make this yellow? I'm gonna make this yellow. Can I do that? With this one. Can I change that? Ooh, I cannot. Okay, once I've written it, I can't change the color. So we will, oops. Did I write that in orange? Oh, I don't know. I'm losing track of colors. We'll just do pink. Seven sync. And I'm gonna make this actually pink now. Okay, we have synced it. What you have to do now is, because your GitHub is now updated, you have to update your local machine. So then now this is where you finally pull the code again. Pull, so that updates your code on your local machine. And then the last step is you have been doing all your work on a branch. So what you have to then do is merge the code from, what step are we at? 8, 9. A 9 is merge. So you have to merge the code, because what got pulled was the dev branch, because that's what I'm using as the default. You've pulled the dev branch down, your local code base on dev is updated, your branch is now outdated. So what you have to do is merge the code from dev into whatever feature your branch is. And then you do the same thing of you merge it, and then you merge the code, that will make a commit, and then you can push back to your GitHub. So this will be 9, 10. Oh. What did I do? Okay, this arrow actually should be somewhere else. But, oh shoot, I drew the diagram just barely wrong. But that's the last step, is your code. You merge it onto your branch, and then you push that branch back up to your GitHub. Oops. Push, and then your PR gets automatically updated. So what happened was this 5. Okay, remember that was 5. This should have actually been. Oh gosh, up that way. 5. What was 5? Good thing I wrote this in 2 places. 5 was push. And then this PR. Oh goodness. This is why diagrams are confusing. I guarantee there's a better way to write this. Oh gosh. That is the PR, and the PR is step 6. I feel like this got way more confusing. But if you ignore the poor diagram that I had and my handwriting, this is what it ends up being. Is you fork the project, so that moves it from my GitHub to your GitHub, because you've basically made a copy. You fork the project, you clone it to your local machine because it's only existing in GitHub. You have to work on the code, so to do that, you have to do it on your computer. You clone it, you make a new branch, work on whatever, and then you commit everything. You're pushing it back up to your fork of the repo because you don't have access to mine, so you only can access yours. That's the whole point of why you have to fork it in the beginning. And then you create a PR. But what happens when somebody else starts working on it as well is you now have to kind of follow the pink step of you first now need to sync your fork again because it got outdated. It doesn't update automatically. I think you could probably make it so it could, but I'm not sure. It doesn't by default, I think. So you have to resync your fork, pull down the code again, and that will pull everything back into the dev branch. You then have to merge the dev branch into your branch, and then you push back up to your GitHub, and that automatically updates the PR. I feel like that was a long explanation. I've now been streaming, for like a little over, I think that took like 10 minutes. Let me know though if that made sense. That is how it works though. I'll keep this open. No, it's my iPad's gonna go to sleep, so it'll end up going to sleep. So that is how that works, and that is how you set up the project and get started with it. I have many things I'm about to change, and because so many people have already commented on issues, I'm gonna have to make more issues, which is really cool, and it's awesome. But that just means there's more to do. So while you think you follow, I would say, honestly, go through and just watch the stream again of me explaining it step by step. Also, you can find a lot of GitHub, GitHub and open source, how to contribute kind of things, and they will also go through how this works. But you'll figure it out because you'll figure it out because here's the thing, if you're going to contribute to open source, everybody before you has figured this out. So you are not going to be an anomaly not being able to figure out how this works. You're not going to be the one out of everybody who has never been able to figure out this thing. Is the sync done through Git or GitHub? So it uses Git, but you do this in GitHub. And that is actually exactly what I was looking for and why I switched it to my face right now, is because I can show you what this looks like because I've contributed to some open source projects because of... there's a lot of repos that like you can update projects to show other people what my project is. And so here's what this exactly looks like. Where's the button? There it is. You've done some work on Git in my internship. Awesome. Yeah, it's totally fine if you Google it. You'll figure it out. Literally, you will figure out how this works. So here is a repo. It's called Open Source Apps because if you didn't know, there's a big repo called Open Source Apps for it is this gigantic list of open source apps that people can contribute to. Open source iOS apps, specifically. Mine is now in here. If we look up basic car maintenance, somebody actually added this. I was going to go add this myself, but the maintainer of the repo added it themselves, which is awesome. So it's a super basic thing. Basic car maintenance, track your car's maintenance, and it uses the tags Swift, SwiftUI, and Firebase, because those are the main things for this. They didn't add the stars. I think you can do that by default or something. And then eventually there is going to be a link to the App Store. But it's not important what this is. This is the original repo, so think of this as like my basic car maintenance repo. And then here, I forked the project. So now the same repo name is under my name because this is my fork. It's like the copy of it on my GitHub account. You will see something that looks like this. This branch is 3 commits behind master. This is literally exactly what it'll look like. So what you have to do is sync the fork. So my copy of this code base is outdated because they've added stuff since I created the fork. So you literally click this button that says sync fork, this branch is out of date, and it's like, yeah, that's what's happening. It says update the branch to keep update branch to keep this branch up to date by syncing 3 commits. So you literally click the button that says update branch. This will go away, and now it tells you this branch is up to date. And that's it. So this has updated this, you have updated the copy of your fork, and then the next thing you'll do is pretend this is the same repo. Right now, you'll be on like the dev branch, so actually you can switch to dev, pretend actually theirs is main or master, but you would just do git pull. This would pull the changes that you just got from the other one. And that's what just happened. That's pretty much like you just, what is that called? Like you just forked it from the first time again. You just did the same thing, is you just updated your fork, and then now you just do git pull, and you've pulled the changes back down again. And Wally, I gave a talk on Git. Yes, you can find on my channel, I gave a talk on Git. It tells you what forking is. It doesn't go super in depth, but it does go through the entire clone, commit, branching process. So you can look at that as well. And that's on my channel. Ooh, that's pretty self-explanatory. Yes, exactly. That's why I was saying, like, it's not hard and you'll figure it out, because there's literally a button to do this. And I forgot, yeah, I have this repo that I have forked, and so what's nice is there were changes, so I could literally show you how this works. You just click sync fork. If there's no changes, it looks like this. It just says you are updated, and it says the words, this branch is not behind the upstream. And that is what I was talking about. If we go back to mine, basic car maintenance. If you go back and actually read contributing, which you should, so I have this line here that says remote add upstream. This is only needed for your local computer, but what this means is, I don't know why it's called this, it's kind of annoying. Upstream is actually just another name for like the original project. So when it said, this branch is not behind the upstream was the original repo. And that just means that right now my fork is updated with the original repo. So at the moment, everybody's will probably be updated. Honestly, if I keep on working on this in the next hour, everyone's is going to get outdated, and you will have to figure out how this works. And you will. Is that I'm going to make changes, and you'll have to pull those changes and everything. But that's what happens, is your fork gets outdated. You can probably make this so it's automatic. I don't know how, and I've never done it. But if you work on the project enough, you'll end up clicking this button just multiple times. And then you'll have to do the thing where you go and update your branch. So that is how this all works. If anybody has any last minute questions, I will take those if anybody is still chilling. Otherwise, that'll be it for this stream. This is the kickoff. This is literally day 1. So like, don't worry about the fact that 7 people have made a PR. Those 7 people have been speedy. 'Cause yeah, this is day 1. You literally have 30 more days to do everything, and so far there's 18 issues, but looks like I'll be adding some more, so don't worry about that. So if anybody has anything else, I'll keep it open for a little bit. Otherwise, that'll be it, and I'll close out the stream. Not too bad. It only took me an hour 20 minutes to explain all that, and I feel like 20 minutes of that was just explaining Git, which is totally fine, but that's its own topic, yeah, for sure. Thanks for sharing, lots of good info. Yeah, you're welcome, Juan. Be sure to like the video, if anybody hasn't yet. And I'm trying to think if there's anything I want to show anybody else. If anybody has Sonoma installed, let me know. Run the app and see what happens. Because I do not have Sonoma. I need to double check that OBS is compatible with Sonoma, because if I do that, if I upgrade and then OBS isn't compatible, then I can't stream anymore, which is sad. But it's also, I can't run the project. When I was going to make it a macOS app, I can't run it on macOS because I don't have the updated version. How do I feel about Xcode built-in Git tools? They're not bad. I don't use them because I basically I can type quickly, and it's faster for me to just like click over here, type some words, rather than if I were to add like a new property here. If we were to commit this, I have to first click on integrate, click commit, click to stage the changes, and then click to start typing in that, what do you call that? In the commit box. So we had to click like 4 times, when in reality, I can do the same thing right here and would have just been like git commit, add property, which was 1 click. So because of that, that's why I typically use Git for in terminal for stuff like this, because it's just so much faster for me to type it. But they've gotten better with everything. Commit, you can pull changes. That's not too bad. It's so surprising to have cherry pick in here, which I've never really actually done, but it exists. And yeah, it's nice to be able to see things, and you can also see repositories. If we go to here, you can see the list of all the commits and everything. So like update bug report, if you double click on it, you can see what I changed. I changed the description here. And that's super nice to just be able to see how everything works, basically. So they're not bad, and they definitely got better in this version of Xcode, but I don't use them, so. The biggest thing I like is that this has a blue bar on it, so if we did, just made a bunch of changes like this blue bar, I like this so you can easily see that. They've made these 2 colors to know what's staged and what's not, so that's what's staged, this part is not. But I like also viewing the mini map, so then I can see like if the file is bigger, if we choose this one, make changes down here and up here. I like then the mini map, so like you can clearly see the blue up there and down here, so I can easily be able to scroll and see where something was changed. And that's the main way I use Git with Xcode, is I don't really use it, I just use to see the diff of different things. But yeah, that's about it. If nobody else has any questions, Stream Elements is still saying it's running, which hopefully it is. It posted it like 10 times. That'll be it. I'm gonna close out the stream, and I will see everybody next time. I'm most likely gonna be streaming on Friday, but I have to double check my schedule. I can't remember. But otherwise, yeah, we will see. And I will definitely be streaming more throughout Hacktoberfest is kind of the goal, rather than just once a week. I'm hoping to stream more so that like it's a co-working kind of session, and then you'll actually see me go through and like review PRs and things. It wouldn't let you build for a Mac. What is the error? Because yeah, Threads doesn't even have DMs. Find another social media, DM me on that, and let me know what the issue is. Because I'm not going to look at it right now. But let me know. But that'll be it. Awesome. So thank you, everybody, for joining. I hope you all have a happy Hacktoberfest, and this project is one that you can actually contribute to and is very easy for you to get up and running. Let me know if you have any issues. You can DM me on social media. Otherwise, see you in the next stream. Bye. And I don't have an ending screen, so everyone just gets to see